strengthen our efforts in advocating for social entrepreneurship. It is composed of different organizations from the development sector, from the academe, from the business and corporate sector. This summit would not be possible without these organizations. For this culminating part of our summit, we will discuss the Ayala Group of Companies' leadership role in the National Social Enterprise Development Council. Joining us today are Mr. Owen Cammayo, Executive Director of BPI Foundation, Ms. Jinky Aguinaldo, Division Manager of Ayala Land Inc., and Mr. Carlo Sagun, Executive Director of the Bayan Innovation Group. Carlo, take it away.
Thank you very much, Rodmark. All right. So, well, thank you to everyone who who has participated in this summit. So we started yesterday, and we promised that it will be a fruitful 2.5 days. And we have come to the concluding point of the summit. And it was strategically designed that we would end with the BPI Foundation and the Ayala Group because it was through the generosity of BPI Foundation and through the leadership of BPI Foundation that we are all here in the first place, right? They were the ones who, with of course, through the partnership of BPI Sinag and Bayan Academy at the first instance, they were the ones who thought about democratizing the successes of the past BPI Sinag years, and they were the ones who thought that, hey, why don't we share our advocacy to the nation at large, such that everyone can collectively join their efforts, their time, and their resources towards one goal of developing social enterprises such that we can all strategically contribute to the country's economic and social development, right? So this session, of course, will be in the context of the theme of our roadmap, which is really isang adhikain, an expanding horizon. And relative to that theme, as mentioned in yesterday's introduction, it's really about formalizing the National Social Enterprise Governance Council. It's about formalizing the collective contribution of the different subsectors. And of course, we understand that for the corporation subsector, right, these stakeholders, right, may not necessarily be social enterprises, right? But we recognize their strategic role in developing social enterprises because of the sheer magnitude of their operations and the need for these operations to really get into sustainability with the urgency of the things that have to be done as regards contributing to the sustainable development goals. The corporations in the country play a critical role in really aligning with the Sustainable Development Goal agenda, right, the SDGs, and of course, trying their best to really integrate social enterprises in their supply chains, in their core businesses, such that their corporations can really contribute effectively and strategically to sustainability, right? And when we started this roadmap with BPI Foundation, we of course discussed the potential bottleneck of effectively mobilizing other corporate conglomerates, right? And after sifting through the opportunities and threats of mobilizing the entirety of the country's corporation subsector, we came to the conclusion that we must provide a proof of concept first that a corporate conglomerate, right, can make this work and make this happen internally, right? And no better group to start it with than the Ayala Group of Companies, which has a leader that has really explicitly communicated that this group of companies, right, will really contribute to the country's sustainability, right? And this is involvement of the Ayala Group of companies in the roadmap governance system in the National Social Enterprise Governance Council is surely a step towards that agenda, right? And similar to the other subsectors, this subsector, the corporation subsector, went through a series of technical working group meetings to align each other as regards their involvement in the roadmap. So probably Owen, Executive Director of BPI Foundation, who's leading the way on behalf of the Ayala Group of companies, can share a few things as regards the group's general experience of going through the technical working group series, the same process that all the other subsectors of the roadmap went through.
Thank you, Carlo. I think this has been a wonderful summit. Thank you very much to you, no, Carlo, and to your team for helping us organize such a wonderful and such a fruitful summit. I think all of the actors or conveners for this movement, for this national movement towards a more sustainable business model, as we call it, as SEs, no, social entrepreneurship, is a success thanks to you guys. So maraming salamat. I'd like to put that first, no, put that out first. We are grateful for your all your help, and to all our participants today. This is only the beginning. With the Ayala Group, I think that the general experience is really positive. Okay, in fact, as you mentioned, we are leading the subsector for the corporations, and we will continue to pour in resources, pour in our efforts, our time, our dedication, and our commitment to help further this movement for SE. So maraming salamat for all your help.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so probably we can get on with this closing session to formally start the work of everyone in this National Social Enterprise Governance Council, right? But before that, we'd like to walk you through what you can expect from this closing session by the Ayala Group of companies, which is really leading the corporate subsector, the corporation subsector. Owen, can you walk them through the different sub-segments of this particular session?
Thanks again, Carlo. So this is the closing, as mentioned. This is a closing segment, and we have in our agenda, we have a 5-part agenda. No, we'll start off with the introduction of presenters. Second, we'll do a summary presentation. Essentially, it's a manifesto to establish and deliver the functions of the Philippine corporations for social enterprise development. And thirdly, syempre, we'll have a ceremonial manifesto signing. Tayong mga Pilipino, mahilig talaga tayo mag-picture. And the fourth agenda for this closing segment would be the sharing of Ayala Group's the programs, the actual programs, no, within the Ayala Group in furtherance of the National SE Development Roadmap. And lastly, we will have a closing for the 2023 Philippine SE Summit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Owen, for that walking through for the different activities that participants can expect from this closing session, right? So let's get on to it. But first, we have to introduce your co-presenters here. Because before, it was just BPI Foundation leading the way for the rest of the Ayala Group. Now, BPI Foundation will still have a clear leadership role, but at the end of the day, it's about harnessing the collective efforts of the group already. So, Owen, you might want to introduce the different contributors to the technical working group series that we had from September 2022 to up to this month. Even up to this month, we were still having talks about it.
Absolutely, Carlo. I am pleased, personally pleased and thrilled to have my colleagues under the Ayala Group of companies and join in this wonderful movement. No, first and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge the co-chairman for this subsector, Ms. Jinky Aguinaldo from Ali. Jinky, say hi naman o kaway ka lang. And then we also have Gab Posadas representing the BPI Group's microfinance bank, which is BPI BanKo. He will look after, he will represent BPI BanKo and look after the Visayas area. So by the way, Jinky will look after North Luzon, NCR, South Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And then for our colleagues from Ayala Foundation, led by Joanna Duarte and her team, will look after Visayas and Mindanao. And then we have our another good friend from Entrego, JQ Quesada, who will look after NCR and South Luzon. We also have ASEN AC Energy, part of the subsector, but I think the rep will be confirmed in a later date.
Thank you very much for that brief introduction to the different contributors to the technical working group series that we had for the corporation subsector. But for the corporation subsector, similar to the other subsectors, Society for the Advancement of Professional Social Entrepreneurship, or SAPSE, and Bayan Innovation Group will serve as the co-secretariat. So we will ensure that all the subsectors, right, are working together systematically. And we would like to make it in such a way that the participants to the National Social Enterprise Governance Council will just stick to the value-adding activities, the decision-making, and the co-secretariat will be doing all the other work for the governance system, right? And for that, of course, we're now presenting the corporation subsector, of course, led by the Ayala Group, chaired by Owen Cammayo, and co-chaired by Jinky Aguinaldo of Ayala Land. But of course, we'd like to contextualize this group's participation relative to the entirety of the governance system that we have formally established, right? Yesterday, the NGOs, the cooperatives, the academe, the MSMEs and association subsectors presented what they had agreed upon, right? And all the discussions that were made in their own technical working group series, right? In furtherance of formalizing this governance system, right? And probably to introduce the specific people who have, in a way, confirmed their participation, right, in this corporation subsector governance system, I'll transfer the floor to Owen again, the chairperson.
Thank you, Carlo. I think this slide just gives a granular or a visual representation of how we intend to spread the load, no, when working on this national SE strategy. So as mentioned by you, Carlo, BPI Foundation will be the chair, and then Ali, care of Jinky Aguinaldo, will be the co-chair. Underneath, for North Luzon, AC Energy will take the lead together with Suset. And then for Visayas, there is Dino, and then Mercy and Jasper from AFI, right? And then for Mindanao, there is Garrett Velasco, and then Rudy Ochoa. For NCR and South Luzon, Cheska, JQ, and Caris is assigned to take the leads. So maraming salamat, and we look forward to working closely with you moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Owen. So for everyone's benefit, just a fun fact. Ayala Land, through the leadership of Jinky Aguinaldo, of course, identified representatives throughout the country, North Luzon, NCR, and South Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, of course, because of the very nature of the coverage of the scope of operations of Ayala Land. And for various parts of the governance system for the corporation subsector, of course, different Ayala organizations identified representatives where they would have a good magnitude of their operations, right? And this is just the start, right? Moving forward, the objective is for this initial group to really harness the collective efforts of other Ayala subsidiaries, Ayala Group subsidiaries, right? And that would be the objective of this group in furthering the participation of the Ayala Group in the Philippine Corporations for Social Enterprise Development, the Corporation Subsector Association. So now, what did the group come to terms on, right? So relative to the other subsectors, they also agreed to systematically and strategically take part in the National Social Enterprise Governance Council to profess, to communicate what they had agreed upon in as far as the Philippine Corporations for Social Enterprise Development is concerned. The chairperson, Owen Cammayo, and the co-chairperson, Jinky Aguinaldo, will read through the salient points of their manifesto.
Thank you once again, Carlo, for BPI. Whereas BPI Foundation, through its BPI CNAG program and in collaboration with BIG, SAPSE, and critical actors of the component subsectors of the country's social enterprise sector, corporations, cooperatives, NGOs, academe, and MSMEs or associations, spearheaded the development of the National Enterprise Development Roadmap, hereinafter referred to as Roadmap, which was launched in the 2021 Philippine Social Entrepreneurship Summit. Whereas the roadmap is a national plan that has the end goal of having a common understanding of what social enterprises are so that the Philippine social enterprise sector's collective scope, size, and socio-environmental impact can be effectively grown. Whereas to sustain the implementation of the roadmap throughout the relevant 5-year planning period, a key strategy identified was to establish a sector-led governance system represented at the national level by sectoral authorities that will lead the roadmap's implementation throughout their subsectors.
Turning the
Jinky?
floor over to our co-chairperson, Jinky Aguinaldo of Ayala Land. I think Jinky was disconnected and is experiencing some technical difficulty. So, Chairperson, maybe you can lead the way throughout the rest of the reading assignments.
Sure. Whereas to jumpstart the implementation of the above-mentioned key strategy, a series of technical working groups or TWG meetings were conducted from September 2022 to February 2023 with critical actors of the component subsectors of the country's social enterprise sector, corporations, cooperatives, NGOs, academe, and MSMEs or associations, collectively hereinafter referred to as subsectors. Whereas the said TWG meetings have the following objectives. 1, to establish a sector-led governance system represented at the national level by sectoral authorities that will lead the roadmap's implementation throughout their subsectors. And 2, to organize subsectors into the governance system with representation from the subsector's major apex networks. Whereas the representatives of the Ayala Group of companies participated in the said TWG meetings for the corporation's subsector and have agreed to organize the corporation's subsector's collective contribution to the roadmap's implementation by organizing relevant Philippine corporations into a network that will be known as the Philippine Corporations for Social Enterprise Development. Now, therefore, for and in consideration of the foregoing, the signatories to this manifesto, collectively herein after referred to as the parties, have agreed to forge a partnership and work together for the collective contribution of the Philippine Corporations for Social Enterprise Development for the implementation of the roadmap towards the achievement of its intended and results.
Thank you very much, Owen. So, as you said a while ago, tayong mga Pinoy, gusto picture taking. We'd also like to document this agreement coming from the individual leaders of the different Ayala Group members. So, if you don't mind me asking all the participants or the leaders of the leaders showing their commitment, right, to this initial stage of the Ayala Group's leadership, right, to please sign the manifesto, the physical copy, so that we can have a photo opportunity with the copies on our screens. Okay. So it's unfortunate that Jinky Aguinaldo is experiencing some technical difficulties, but nonetheless, we know that we have her full support as regards this initiative. So let's take a picture of this particular ceremonial signing, right?
Carlo, I hope you don't mind. I'm using a digital manifesto.
Sure.
Sustainability matters.
So thank you very much for the leaders, the initial leaders of the Ayala Group, of course, BPI Foundation, BPI BanKo, Entrego, and Ayala Land for expressing your commitment to enjoin, right, or to mobilize the rest of the Ayala Group in furtherance of the corporation subsectors contribution, right, to the National Social Enterprise Development Roadmap. So again, this is just a start. And this is just a ceremonial way of expressing this commitment. So thank you very much. So with that, we'll be transitioning to the next segment of this closing session, right? It's the sharing of the association members' preliminarily identified programs in furtherance of the roadmap's action programs. But before I turn the discussion over with the representatives of the Ayala Group, right, I'll be discussing first the roadmap action programs for the corporation subsector, right? Because these general action programs are the sifters for relevance that would be followed by the Ayala Group and later on the rest of the corporation subsector on what are relevant, what they can really contribute to, right? Of course, they have existing programs, but these programs will be aligned to the extent that it will strategically contribute to the attainment of to the implementation of these general action programs and towards the attainment of the roadmap's envisioned outcomes. So I'll just give a brief overview because these are action programs that you can read through the executive report that you can download through SAPSE and Bayan Innovation Group's websites, right? But for everyone's benefit, for the corporation subsector, it's quite distinct because the corporation subsector is in a position to really harness their supply chains and their collective resources to contribute to the action programs of the rest of the subsectors, right? So first, for the first strategy of the roadmap, which is really establishing this governance system, right? We've really done it already, right? But we're in the process of starting a bigger initiative as regards this action program. It's really co-orchestrating with the sector, the establishment of the sector-led governance system. So this is happening now. This is being done now. Co-develop with the sector, the governance system design, functions, and guidelines. So there's an initial iteration of this already, but we know that this is a living design. To the extent that we can be more responsive to the different subsectors, this design will change necessarily. Organize technical working groups for BPI Foundation partners, the Ayala Group of companies, and later on, other corporate networks, right? So this has been started as well, as mentioned in the process that the Ayala Group went through for the organization of this corporation subsector association, right? For the second strategy of delivering a social enterprise registry and delivering a social enterprise accreditation or qualification program. It's really orchestrating the delivery of the Philippine Social Enterprise Baseline Report, right? Firming up the social enterprise registry design such that we can really implement it with the perspective of the social enterprises in mind. We don't want to list them down in this registry. We want them to benefit from it, right? Co-develop with the sector the social enterprise accreditation system. Co-develop with the sector the Tatak SE branding for general awareness, for a national awareness of everything that we're doing relative to this social enterprise roadmap. Capitalize on its vast social enterprise capital, right, to jumpstart this communications campaign. So for everyone's benefit, BPI Foundation, through the course of the past years, right, have made the authorship of multiple, right, case studies on social enterprises possible. In fact, they had published 2 books on the matter with the help of Bayan Academy and Bayan Innovation Group, right? The very last book was How to Manage a Business That Does Good, which was really published, right, in aid of the roadmap's education agenda, right? And that will be pushed further through this initiative. For the third strategy of pushing for policies for social enterprise development at all levels of policymaking, develop the compendium of current laws relevant to social enterprise development, right? Because we know that there are laws already that can benefit social enterprises. It's about putting them together and making the social enterprises aware that such laws already exist for their benefit. And provide support to national and local social enterprise policy advocacies. For research and education, it's really developing the knowledge management hub platform, deliver a capacity development program for sectoral authorities of the different subsectors, develop a socio-environmental analytics program. And for resource mobilization, co-develop the platform that could bridge the gap between the subsectors' abundance of resources and the demand for such by social enterprises in the subsector. So with that discussion of the general action programs, right, of the corporation subsector, we'd like to get the thoughts of the different Ayala Group representatives in the room on what their existing programs are and to what extent these can be aligned with the roadmap's general agenda, which is really improving the scope, size, and socio-environmental impact of social enterprises, right? And with that, I'd like to turn this presentation into a short talk show, right? So we have the chairperson, Owen Cammayo, the co-chairperson of the corporation subsector, Jinky Aguinaldo, and the rest of the representatives of the Ayala Group in Posadas, Joseph Quesada, right, who represent BPI, BanKo, and Entrego, the logistics arm of the Ayala Group of companies, right? So we would like to invite Gab and Joseph to turn on your cameras because at this point, the entire summit will be seeing us all together, the 5 of us, right? So probably we can start with the representatives of the corporation subsector to the national level decision-making body. The chairperson and the co-chairperson, of course. But the chairperson, Owen Cammayo, can you please share to the sector at large what are the existing or upcoming programs of BPI Foundation that can aid in the roadmap's objectives?
Thanks again, Carlo. Jinky, welcome back. We missed you earlier, but don't worry, we are teammates. I took over your your portion.
Thank you so much. But I have my
Manifesto.
manifesto. I was in the wrong link. Sorry about that.
Fantastic.
Thank you very
But
much.
Anyway, okay, Carlo, going back to your question, I think this commitment to the social enterprise sector started around 9 years ago for BPI, through BPI Foundation. We developed a program called BPI CNAG, which started off as a business challenge. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with the Shark Tank series, but it was very similar. So what we did was with the vision of, or with the mission of trying to provide uh, grants to upcoming SEs that have high potential, fantastic ideas, great pitch. That's how it started. But the past several years, we've slowly evolved it into a bigger, more holistic a program that not only provides kickstart money, but also provides learning, right? And not just learning, but sustained learning and mentorship and coaching together with you guys, Carlo. And not just that, we've partnered with Ali. Kaya Jinky's here, no? We partnered for market access. Before kasi, it's not, it's just plain market access. Now, premium market access with Ali's help. I mean, Ali is situated in several marketable areas, and it's a plus. It's any if you're an entrepreneur, especially if it's a product based venture, market access is very vital, right? And with Ali's help, Ayala Land's help through their malls, through their commercial areas, that's a great, fantastic help for the SEs in our community, Sinag community. And then we've also started to include financial inclusion, right? For those who do not, some SEs are in the lower tier of in terms of financial capacity, and they're really a startup, but it's starting as a micro, a mom and pop organization. And this is where we come in. We provide financial education, financial management, capacity building, and actual access to the financial system for those who do not have a form, or who's not included in the financial system. We connect them. It's not mandatory. We provide them capacity building on how to manage their money, how to manage their money well, and then we provide them opportunities to connect with the financial system through BPI BanKo, or even the main BPI bank, depending on where they are, depending on their need. And it's not really, just take note, it's not compulsory. Okay, nobody's compelled to go and join BanKo or BPI as their financial institution. So essentially, that's the story of BPI Sinag. This year, it's on its 9th year, and the commitment really is to further enhance it, strengthen it, and really create greater impact. One of the Sinag winners would always say, diba, when you're doing social, if you're running a social enterprise, you have to take a look at the income. Of course, it is a business, but you also have to equally take a look at the impact, the social impact. And we couldn't agree more. I mean, BPI, through BPI Foundation, that's exactly what we're trying to do here. And the SE, the social enterprise sector, is one of key sectors that we're really zeroing in, focusing in our efforts and resources. And this movement, this national movement, is just one of those tactics that we're doing, to further and to really nurture, develop this high potential, responsible and sustainable business sector.
Thank you for that, Owen. Of course, the BPI Sinag program is there. I didn't realize that we're already on the 9th year, and it's going to be a decade already since the very first year of this program. It's been a blast. Experiences throughout those years is definitely contributed to our intellectual capital, which we have documented very professionally. And I think it's about time that we really democratize these experiences such that the other social enterprises or the starting social enterprises don't make the same mistakes. Because, well, there are social enterprises in this community, in our community throughout the years that have not started in the right path, right? And as far as performance is concerned, but we documented their experiences and we mentored them towards going to the next level such that they can address these bottlenecks. And all these documentations, the books, the case studies, right, are for everyone's benefit such that we don't repeat the same mistakes, right? And I think that's a very good value of BPI CNAD, right? And the BPI Foundation. And of course, the financial, the direction, the strategic direction towards enhancing financial wellness is very important because in the way we teach in our different education programs, once social entrepreneurs really come to terms with the management function of finance, their performance really reaches greater heights, right? Not just business-wise, but part of finance is really going through the numbers. And as far as social enterprises are concerned, those numbers, right, are the means for us to measure and manage the social impact too, right? So thank you very much for that sharing, Owen. We now move on to the co-chairperson, right? No less than Jinky Aguinaldo of Ayala Land. So what are the current programs of Ayala Land that you think can directly add value to the overarching objective of this particular roadmap?
Again, I apologize to the entire team, to our participants this afternoon. There was a glitch on my connection. To answer that, Carlo, we actually have been, Ali, as a company, is a very responsible corporate citizen of this country. And we realize that we can only grow more as a business if we support our social enterprises who are really not located in the cities, but in our grassroots. No, so we have this program called Alagang Ayala Land, which we started in 2017, but the focus then was different. So we were very thankful. No, if we have to be thankful, it's because of the pandemic that made us realize that many of our countrymen are really unfortunate, or really experienced the pandemic that really caused their businesses to stop. No, so we said that since we are in the commercial business, we are in Ayala Mall. So we said, okay, we support them because they never gave up doing their enterprise, supporting their enterprises. It's just that it's very difficult for them to sell their produce, their products. No? So we said we have the mall, so why not invite them to activate or to feature their products, to sell their products in the malls. No, so we said we have 30 across the country, 32 plus the ones with a partner. No, so we are 32 malls across the country. So we said we open spaces for them. Then all they have to do is really to bring in the products to us. No, so that's, and we allow them. It's a free, free of rent, for the malls. So we said we help them, and the target then was only 10 social enterprise per mall. So 300 lang in 2021. That was February. But when we opened it, we launched it in May, we already got 600 who applied. No, so sabi namin, marami talaga siyang natutulungan, and we need to really continue, to support the social enterprises. So we're on our 24th month of operation for Alagang Ayala Land, supporting the social enterprises in the malls. Currently, we are 1,600 SEs operating. No? So we said,
Wow.
okay, successful na yung Alagang Ayala Land in the malls, but we are not after the quantity. Remember, we have to develop the social enterprise, of the country. So we said we focus now on the qualitative part, the qualitative aspect of this. And one of the items that we have identified, the things that we need to prioritize, is really to educate them. That's the reason why summits like this partnership with BPI in the boot camps. We encourage them to join so that at least the financial learning literacy that they need to have will be supported. They will be equipped. No? So that's one aspect that we're really focusing now. We're not after the 1,600, 1,000 would do, but we'll make sure that they are sustainable. No, so we're using the malls as a platform for all the social enterprises now for their activation. So that's one program. And currently, to support our ESG program as Ayala, as a group, we're also having a quality assurance audit of our social enterprises. So we would know who really can sustain their enterprise, or those really are complying with the social mission part of an SE. Because there are others that, they just have the business to earn, to have the income for themselves, but really not plowing back to the communities that produce the product. So that's one of the programs that we're currently pursuing in alignment with the ESG program of the conglomerate.
Thank you very much, Jinky, for sharing those insights as regards the Alagang Ayala. And 1,000 SEs would be 1,000 SEs. And if they're grown to their potential, this would be a very great value addition to the objectives of this roadmap, right? So we will be continuing to help them throughout this planning period. Imagine, this is 5 years. So we can grow those 1,000 SEs within those 5 years. Probably we can share the floor to Gab Posadas. What's in it
Hi,
for
good
BanKo?
afternoon.
What programs of BanKo can actually add value to the roadmap's agenda?
Hi, Carlo, and good afternoon to all the attendees. Happy Friday to everyone. So for BanKo, we're essentially enhancing our negosyo ko, our signature products and solutions that are really targeted towards the SMEs, the self-employed micro entrepreneurs. We are providing intensified means for clients to be able to access our negosyo ko or microfinance loans. Not only access, but also digitalization and as well as reach nationwide. As you know, to introduce BanKo, we are the microfinance arm of BPI, established back in 2009 as a partnership among BPI Globe and the Ayala Corp. And about 7 years ago, BPI took full ownership of BanKo and merged it with BPI Direct. Since then, we've launched already our negosyo ko loan. We've released 38 billion pesos of loans to our kababayang micro entrepreneurs. And through our negosyo ko signature loan product, we are enhancing this, increasing, of course, our reach, not only our reach in terms of our branches, which are now 317 in the nation. We aim to increase that even further, but also be able to have our digital solutions, as we embark on really spreading to our 7,000 plus islands in the Philippines. We're also, in terms of our core programs, digitalization is very critical for us and for the bank. And so we've also launched and will continue to intensify our digital savings account opening. One of the pain points that I have had when I was talking to some social enterprises last year was the difficulty of opening a bank account, all the documents, all the paperwork, etc. For 2023 and beyond, BanKo is committed to digitalize its account opening service. We've launched Todo Savings Account last year, and we are continuing to intensify its reach and breadth towards the country. So it's digital account opening, one ID, no going to the bank, 6 minutes to get your account open. So we're doing that, and also not only are we enhancing our product suite, delivering the channels where these products will be taken to, but also for this year is strategic partnerships through, of course, our friends BPI Foundation and of course Bayan. All of the collaborations in the SEs to make sure that not only are we able to bring forth our product suite of products and solutions to the entrepreneur, but also in the entire supply chain. Meaning, for example, suppliers of the social enterprise, the employees of the social enterprise who may not have a bank account, BanKo is there. We are digital, we are ready, and BanKo is here to really strengthen the financial capabilities of the Filipino moving forward.
Thank you for that sharing, Gab. Very exciting times, especially not just for BanKo, but with BPI Foundation and Bayan as well, because we all know we have a budding partnership to really democratize BanKo's services and potential to the social enterprise sector at large. Yes, Owen?
Yeah, just to build on what Gab said, no, just to build some excitement, no, we're looking at developing some sort of special financial product dedicated for SE. So it's not yet finalized, but there's a commitment to take a look into developing a particular financial solution specially catered for this sector. That's how dedicated and really focused the BPI group is for this SE sector.
Thank you very
Gab,
much.
sorry
for that.
inunahan kita, Gab.
Thank you, sir. No problem.
Thank you very much for that addition, Owen. So there's financing, there's capacity building, and there's a distribution channel through Ayala Land. But for the SEs to bring their products to these distribution points, right, they need logistics, right? So maybe JQ can share to us the programs of Entrego that can be made, right, available for the social enterprises.
Thank you, Carlo. No? Tama yung nabanggit mo. At some point, the supply chain and getting products to the Ayala malls and to customers across the country will be very critical to the growth of social enterprises. I'm sure marami sa mga social enterprises natin dito, lalo na yung mga product-based, nung pandemya, nag-shift to selling online. And given the technology available and the capabilities of our entrepreneurs to market themselves, hindi mahirap makahanap ng bibili ng kanilang mga produkto. Ngunit kapag nakabenta na, dun pa lang nila marirealize, hala, paano natin ipapadala ito? No? And alongside the growth of businesses during the pandemic, you also saw the growth of different logistics options. No? And that's where Entrego as a company comes in. Entrego is a 5-year-old company. This is the first venture of the Ayala Group into logistics. Entrego started as a logistics company that delivers for e-commerce clients. So Zalora, Shopee, Lazada. So kung meron tayong social entrepreneurs that opened stores in Shopee, Lazada, and even Zalora, we were probably one of the 3PLs to have delivered products directly to some of your buyers in different parts of the country. But we've grown, as you can see, yung mga words dito sa background ko, we're no longer just limited to delivering parcels. We've also grown as a company to offer freight forwarding and contract logistics. What does that mean? So as your company grows, maybe now nagbebenta tayo, we're doing good business, we're selling maybe a few items weekly. But when you become successful, note when, you will probably be needing larger modes of transportation to ship. And that's where freight forwarding comes in. You might be requiring some, you will be transporting by the pallets or by the truckloads from maybe Cebu to markets in Luzon, or from Ilocos or somewhere in the north to markets in Mindanao and Visayas. And that's where our services on the freight forwarding and trucking comes in. We also have services on contract logistics because alam natin yung price ng fuel medyo mahal and transport costs gets affected by that. And as we partner up with our sister company, Ayala Land, who are building warehouses in different parts of the country, there's just what you call now yung mga forward stock locations. It is now possible where, as an entrepreneur, you could outsource storage of your products to a company like Entrego. So even if you market from Mindanao, your products are stored somewhere here in Luzon and can be fulfilled faster. And that's what Entrego brings to the table. No? We have this whole suite of services from storage to tracking to transport to delivering to the final, what we call the last mile, no, to the customers products. And there are many ways to go about it. No? Typically, sanay tayo na ipapa-pick up natin same day. But again, as an entrepreneur, the more that you are aware of the different logistics options that we can offer, the more that we can also help strategize and plan with you. Sometimes nagiging afterthought yung logistics. Naiisip lamang natin to kapag dumadami na yung order. Parang, uy, biglang may nag-bulk order pa sa Mindanao. Paano ko papadala doon? No? So, I think our company, Entrego, is happy to have this conversation with interested social entrepreneurs, regardless of what stage of growth you are in your business, para maplano natin yung logistics early on and even give you advice on how we could probably structure it in a way that, number one, minimizes cost, and number two, allows you to service your clients faster. Ito yung logistics ngayon. Gusto natin hindi lang mura na, mabilis pa. And yes, there are different options available for that. And just a quick plug, no, we also have our digital platform. It's called My Entrego. Ito dinevelop talaga para sa mga entrepreneurs. No? You could open an account with us online or download our app sa My Entrego. And we offer pick-up services and delivery to about 30+ thousand barangays across the country. No, so if you are, let's say, an entrepreneur marketing a product in Iloilo, you can use our platform, My Entrego, open an account with us, and schedule a pickup. And our riders will pick it up from you and deliver it. Let's say if you have an order from in Zamboanga, so our company can make sure it goes from your place in Iloilo to a customer who bought your product in Zamboanga, as an example. And that's really where logistics comes in. And I mentioned this in previous talks on the topic. No? To the entrepreneurs in the room, don't make logistics an afterthought. Don't just start off thinking of logistics kapag nandiyan na yung order. Kasi minsan, meron kang opportunity to serve a customer, pero dahil hindi natin na plano yung logistics, baka it might be an opportunity that we will lose pa. Hindi natin ma-service only because we did not plan ahead about how to get our products to those markets. So again, Entrego and the entire AC logistics end-to-end solutions and companies would be very happy to provide options and to share to our social entrepreneurs how best we could help them grow and get their products to the market na mabilis and at a price that is not too painful for our entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much, JQ, for explaining what the value of planning for logistics is for social enterprises. Now, these are just 4 organizations within the Ayala Group, but you can see how the potential of integrating all these value additions can directly benefit the sector at large. Just imagine, they'll be working with the NGOs, with the cooperatives, with the academia, with the actual MSME subsector. Imagine what we're trying to do here in the National Social Enterprise Development Roadmap. And probably, before we close this discussion, just last 2 questions. The first is for our co-chairperson, and the last and final question will be for our chairperson. So for our co-chairperson, Jinky Aguinaldo, Ayala Land, right? There are 4 organizations here within the Ayala Group. There are a lot more, right? How will this group harness the efforts of the others in the group, right? Such that we can really prove to the rest of the Philippine conglomerates that it can be done and we can also move them into action, right?
Yeah, you're right with your observations, Carlo, that na madami ang members ng group of companies for Ayala. But it's just that siguro yung iba papaisip pa, no? They're still thinking on how they can really be of value or how they can contribute to the overall efforts of really improving or developing our social enterprises. It's just that the four of us are really, we have live experiences now that we can madali na siyang i-develop moving forward. So I think one of the, if there is one observations I have across the group of companies that we all pitch in the initiatives, the WABC, the We Are Ayala Business Club, no, that's very effective on how we support each other in all the efforts, no. So we can just pitch in the social enterprise, the livelihood generation, the support of the supply chain for each of the businesses we have. In each of the locations, no, kasi medyo strategically located din naman talaga lahat ng companies ng Ayala, no. So really it's one in our vision to really support the community where our individual companies are located. So that's community engagement. We should be one on that, no, across all the companies. Then also focusing on livelihood generation, that should be appreciated, no. Ako nga hindi na ako muna lalabas pa if you're to ask me now, no, kung ano yung kailangan ko pang itulak, no, to push in the Ayala Group, no, is really our construction. We have lots of construction activities, and you know how we really help cooperatives, giving us those skilled workers for us to construct the buildings, no, for Ali. That's one. And also for the far-flung resorts that we have, yung ating supply chain, mahirap kasi makarating yung mga produkto. So we normally encourage our communities to produce those products that will support the supply chain of our resorts and our hotels, no. So that's one. Also during calamities, also you can see how each of the member of the conglomerate would help each other, no, para makapagbigay ng assistance, no. So it's really oneness on really focusing on how we trust each of the members of the Ayala Group, and second is the relevance it can contribute to the things that we do, especially on this effort on developing the social enterprise. So it's really a challenge for you as our kayo yung talaga magkukonekta sa amin, magpapaliwanag na Globe kailangan ka namin, Auto kailangan ka namin, AC Energy kailangan ka namin, AC Health, AC Education. So all of those, I know that if they're given the right encouragement or the right perspective or the overall directions we have here, no, supporting social enterprise. Kasi ito lang talaga yung pag-asa natin ngayon, no, supporting the small startup budding social enterprises in the grass. Give them the opportunity, no, para lumago yung mga negosyo nila. And also is to empower our people on the ground. That's how I operate for Alagang Ayala Land. Our mall coordinators, they can make decisions. We just gave them overall directions. And this is the criteria when you search or you track or you convince those social enterprises to activate in the mall. So that's very important in the organization also. That will really fast track, no, on how we do things. Empower your people on the ground to make decisions, no, para mapabilis yung proseso natin. So that's one. I hope that will also be encouraged, or that will also be promoted in the other members of the group, no. I know some, no, meron naman ganun talaga, but siguro with this initiative that we have, we continue to encourage them pa more, no, para ma-realize nila yung ating objective dito na pagtulong for these social enterprises.
Thank you very much for that. Our co-chairperson for the corporation subsector, Jinky Aguinaldo of Ayala Land. So last but not the least, right? So for everyone's benefit, our leader of the corporation subsector will be coming in, the master in entrepreneurship for social enterprise development, right? Which will start this April 12, the next batch, right? And his social enterprise laboratory will be BPI Foundation. But the focus really will be his leadership role in this corporation subsector and really harnessing the rest of the Ayala Group's efforts towards this national endeavor, right? So, Owen, chairperson of the corporation subsector, what can the sector expect from you?
Carlo, first of all, that's a public pressure, huh? But anyway, thank you for accepting me to the Mesedev program in advance. I just found out now or today that April 12 nga yung start. So I look forward to that. And to answer your question, really, it's about three things, right? We want to deepen, we want to expand, and we want to be models as a corporate conglomerate. The Ayala Group, BPI Foundation, and the Ayala Group of companies, we will definitely deepen and expand our efforts, our commitment, our interventions for the social enterprise sector, and definitely we will try to be a model, create a model for other conglomerates to mirror, so that, diba, together, diba, as one country, as one nation, we're able to push for one common movement, for us to have some sort of commitment towards a sustainable business model. So it's a hard task. It's easier said than done. It's a long way to go. Diba? I understand. We've been trying to make it, pass a bill, the policies involved, but it's just taking so long. And hopefully this movement, this national SE strategy roadmap, we sustain this. We make it happen, Carlo. And then you guys, as the secretary, as Jinky said, and together with my colleagues at the Ayala Group of companies, let's challenge ourselves. No, let's challenge ourselves and just work together towards a common goal. And as we move forward, diba, we enjoin other conglomerates, other organizations, other like-minded companies, diba, in this movement. So thank you, Carlo, for this opportunity. And I'm really excited I'm excited, found BPI and BPI through BPI Foundation's very excited. I know Gab is excited. So exciting times ahead. Tough, but very exciting times. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that declaration of what you'll be delivering in behalf of the sector for our over 1,000 viewers in this summit, right? So, that really concludes this session of the corporation subsector and essentially the summit, right? We can count on not just the corporation subsector, but as you have seen in yesterday's sessions, the cooperative subsector, the NGO subsector, the academe subsector, and the MSMEs and association subsector. All will be working together, right, towards achieving the roadmap's objectives. For this planning period, is really pushing for that common understanding of what social enterprises are. And we can really achieve that through the roadmap's purpose, its mission of really unifying the different stakeholders towards growing the scope, size, and socio-environmental impact of social enterprises, right? When we started this in 2021, there were 5 organizations. As presented yesterday, there are already 70 organizations in this roadmap. And these are just not your 70 small organizations. These are your sector authorities. These are your sector captains. Imagine, imagine the thought of this. One organization, for instance, in the NGO subsector, would be the biggest network in NGOs in the country. Our partner, the Philippine Cooperative Center, would have 70% of the cooperatives in the country as part of its membership. Those are the types of organizations, the 70 organizations that we have working in this initial phase of this roadmap, right? From 5 to 70, right? Imagine what we can do in the next 5 years. So with that, it's just the beginning, right? And now the real work begins, right? And hopefully we can generate the entire sector support in this roadmap. This coming March, the National Social Enterprise Governance Council will officially meet for the first time, and the different subsector associations will meet officially for the first time thereafter, right? And the rest of the Philippine social enterprise sector can expect that all the programs, right, that will be harnessed will be made available to you, right, in the coming months. So with that, thank you very much, BPI Foundation. Thank you very much, Ayala Land. Thank you very much, BPI BanKo, right? The work continues. And now I pass the floor over to Rodmark and Maan.
Thank you so much, Carlo. Thanks, everyone. And thank you, everyone, on this Friday na holiday for joining us on the 2023 Philippine Social Enterprise Summit. All of us have a role to play, and indeed, the process of expanding horizon never ceases. Social entrepreneurship has the potential to strengthen our country.
Absolutely, man. My head is still reeling from all the talks, and tumaba palalo yung puso ko kasi ang daming inspiring sharing na nangyari this past 2 days from all the different subsectors and from all our different speakers coming in the last 2 days. So again, thank you everyone, to all the audience who were here not just today but also yesterday, to all our speakers, and especially to the Ayala Group of Companies and BPI Foundation. Thank you for leading the initiative. As Carlo mentioned earlier, wala tayo ngayon dito kung hindi sinimula ng BPI Foundation. So thank you very much.
Okay, now the last 2 days have been very, very jam-packed, especially for today. If you have missed any one of the sessions and you want to listen to it, you want to hear it, or you want to hear another session again, for the next 7 days, you can still check out the talks which occurred over the past 2 days of the summit, plus our virtual booths. The streams and booths can be found here on Jubilo. Don't forget to stay in touch and follow BPI Foundation, Bayan Academy, Bayan Innovation Group for announcement and for more opportunities. We would like to thank, so nandito na tayo sa acknowledgement part. We would like to thank everyone who worked hard to make this 2 days happen, to the Bayan family of foundations, for Search, Big, Bayan Academy, Bayan Edge, SAPSE, of course, our corporate partner, BPI Foundation, Entrego, Ayala Land, BPI BanKo. And of course, thank you very much to our National Social Enterprise Development Governance Council.
Pati, I'd like to give a special shout out sa lahat ng technical crew natin working behind the cameras.
Nakikinig sila ngayon, yung mga sinisigawan namin kanina. Thank you sa inyong lahat. And we would like to, of course, we would like to acknowledge on Tuesday, February 28th, is the 2nd death anniversary of the grandfather of social entrepreneurship in the Philippines, Dr. Eduardo Morato, who passed away February 28, 2021. So we would like to remember him because it is through him that we are, at least Rodmark and I, the reason why we are here and committed to this lifetime of service. Ayon nga kay Carlo. Okay. Again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in this last 2 days. As Carlo has mentioned, we will see you, some of you, all of you, sometime in March for the updates on what will be happening on the National Social Enterprise Roadmap. Thank you to everyone for sharing, for listening, and do connect with people on Jubilo. The network is there, the profile is there. If you need to message anyone, mentors, resources, speakers, you can do so at the Jubilo platform.
And for those of you who want to still join the initiative, the door is wide open. We will be sending you the link so that if you want to sign up to the movement, please do so. So with that, thank you everyone for joining the 2023 Philippine Social Entrepreneurship Summit. We wish everyone a great weekend. Stay safe. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat. Bye!